Good morning. It is March the 23rd. Beautiful sunny day out. A little deceiving because it's still around 1 degree Celsius this morning. And I decided that I'd like to extend my camping season a little bit on my Overlander rooftop tent setup, as you can see in the background there. And to do so, I figured I'd purchase a diesel heater and see about installing it. So this is just to show you the first installation, and I say first because I'll go over this in a second. There's a couple of problems with the way I've done the setup, and I'm going to be redoing it, but I thought I'd show this one just in case there's somebody out there that's interested and wants to know more about diesel heaters. I did a lot of research, found a lot of things out. And yeah, with any further ado, I'll show you this one and tell you what I'm going to do next. So, this is the ARB Touring. It's the Simpson 2, I believe, rooftop tent that I have. And this is the diesel heater that I purchased. Now, this is from Vevor, and they have many models, and there's an awful lot of models and different scenarios you can purchase these from. They have about 3 main setups. One is a tall setup with a 5-liter tank. One is a small squat one with a 5-liter tank. And there's this idea where you purchase all the pieces. They're not put together in a case, but it's the same pieces that come in a case. So you get all the same equipment, just not in a nice fancy case, which for a van or for a conversion or for something to put in, this would be a good idea. The back of a vehicle for heating it up. Beggars can't be choosers, and right now it seems that these little heaters are little hotcakes because trying to purchase one online was very, very difficult. Everywhere was out of stock, and the wait time was a long time, and I was in a bit of a rush to get this done, so I ended up purchasing this setup. Now, as you can see, I have the back of my truck done up with 2 wooden shelves drawers that can be pulled out, and so that gave me some leverage to mount this. I originally was going to mount this on the outside of my tent, on the nice frame from RCI, the truck frame, and I still could do that. The only problem that one ends up with, and this is where the two issues that I have is, the one issue is that if you're going to permanently mount it, then it needs to be somewhere that is going to be protected as much as possible, and then you're going to look at your space. Now for me, space wasn't really a big issue. I got a lot of space here, and I can still fit my storage containers down the side. They fit rather well. Everything went together well that way. So really, this setup was okay. The fuel tank I had to modify a little bit. Unfortunately, the way you have to drill your own setup. When I set this up, as you can see, I set it up so that the fuel comes out a little bit higher up the tank than necessary. There is a hole on the other side, and you can turn this tank around. Of course, it's easy to maneuver it around. But for now, these diesel heaters use nothing for fuel. I mean, the amount of fuel I've got there that I can access with that is right now, that would last me on low setting for about 4 days, 4 nights camping. And right now I won't be going out that long. So anyway, long story short, that doesn't matter for me at this time. I ended up using my battery that I have set up for my little fishing boat, and so that worked great because it's universal now. I can use this for this in the winter time, and in the summertime I can use this for my boat. And I also put a 12-volt car charger on it to power it, so that I can use a power supply. I have an Everflow river power supply that will work with that as well. You just got to watch your fuses to make sure that you have the right fuses in there. Sometimes these things have a smaller fuse, and at the startup this does take a bit of power. So as you can see, mounted are in there. The fuel line just sits there. It is a little higher coming down into the pump. The pump was mounted to the wood here. does have a ticking sound, but to be honest with you, I think they've heard enough people mention this so that they've changed the pumps a little bit. This pump seems to be, I mean, the ticking was, I have a clock in my bathroom that ticks louder than this does when it gets going. And when the actual unit does fire up, of course, you're going to be listening to the blower going, and then you won't really hear that ticking sound. And when I'm up in my tent, I'm not going to hear it at all. Now, why am I moving this and why my issues? Well, right here is the biggest issue of all, and it is this. It's your exhaust line. And as you can see in this scenario, what I'll end up doing is I can then take this here and I mount it up to here with the bungee cord, and that just keeps this off of the wood, just about that far off the wood, which is perfect. I mean, it's not radiating heat, it's just it does have heat. And when I didn't have it put up, you can see right here on the wood, even with the heat tape on there, it still burnt my wood on high. So lifting that up just as much as that, now it doesn't do it. Like I said, the bungee cord will actually go up here when it's done. And you have your hose. I purchased this off Amazon. Link will be in the description on this. It is tight to get on here, and it is very tight to get onto the actual unit itself, but it does go. You just got to be patient and figure it out, and it will go for you. Now, why again, sorry, am I going to move this? Because this setup works. This bungee cord that's here is just to stop it going down the road, this bouncing too far. And that's because of the exhaust. Because when I set the tent up, my tent comes over the back end of my truck. It comes over the back end and sits down here. So it folds out this way. There's a vestibule that goes on here. If I attach the vestibule to this, then unfortunately the exhaust gases, or your good old carbon monoxide, will be filling my vestibule up. With the tailgate like that, this would all be covered. So I was exhausting my gases right into my vestibule and didn't think about that when I was trying to set this up. The original thought of having it on the outside of the tent would have alleviated that, and that's what I was going with. So what have I got to do? I have to turn around and figure a way how to vent this. Now, venting is a big thing, and so is the intake, because if you don't have enough intake, it will overheat. If you vent it to the wrong place, it will overheat. I will also mention before I go any further that these heaters, originally I had this heater installed right down on the deck here, and I did have it installed, instead of having it installed the way you see it now with the exhaust and the air coming straight underneath it, I had it tilted. Should have read the instructions, because it leaked. I don't know why it leaked. Reading all the other reviews I've seen and people taking these apart, it didn't seem a reason why it should leak, but it did. So it definitely has to be built standing up, and use it standing up just the way it is, not like it is right now. So really, the only other problem with the way this is set up is if I ever have to get it to fuel or to move the fuel, I just have to undo my netting there and pull it down. The frame that I built for the fuel tank was just using a piece of wood and some brackets, and the fuel tank slides in there nicely, so it's held. The bungee cords that you can see around the neck, up here, there's a bungee cord on the neck. They're just for extra security, just to hold it there. I mean, it really isn't doing anything because of what it's the way the tank is put into that frame. So if I mounted it on the outside, like I was planning to do originally, yeah, fuel is an issue, because you've got to get, the fuel has to be higher than for it to work. In this case, it is actually higher for the flow of the fuel. It works fine, comes out here. I ran this thing several times now, and the very first time I ran it with it all upside down and everything, or on its side, there was white smoke coming out of everywhere. Now when I run it, it just starts up and it runs clean. Once you get the airflow, all your air out of your fuel line, and your fuel line is actually full and pumping nicely, these things, there's no smoke comes out of this exhaust whatsoever. Now I'm not going to turn it on right now, because I am actually charging the battery, and they say not to utilize it while you're charging the battery, something about a low of ampage or something, so I'm just not going to do it. I did actually put, funny enough, I put the fuel filter in the wrong way. There's an arrow on it that tells you which way to go, and when I did it, I looked at the arrow and then proceeded to put it all together in a haste at night at like 10 o'clock at night, and sure enough, I had it the wrong way. However, it does still work because the way the fuel filter is, it's just a screen inside. I think it's really, and it's also a good way of capturing the air, just like in the hospital when you have an intravenous and they have that air gap. It works the same way, so it does take a lot of the air problems away from you. So I will be putting that the right way. Now, for me, I purchased a case. For us in Canada here, we don't have the companies that they were talking about online for purchasing, because a lot of the reviews I saw were from our American friends. And wonderful reviews, great. The builds that I saw were amazing. Everybody did roughly the same kind of case, but with a different, small differences in the material they used inside the cases. So I've decided to build one of those myself because it gives me some more portability, and then you can also use this in the winter time for ice fishing as well, so it's not stuck on this. So anyway, there it is. It's was put together in I put it together in about 5 hours, and I had to redo it because I had it the wrong way around and do some things. So they're really easy to put together. You follow the instructions that are there, look at some of the reviews online. These are amazing heaters. I can't say enough. On level 1, so the lowest level setting, this beastie here pushes out enough air for my rooftop tent. I don't have to worry about. Yeah, so it's they're great little gadgets. I certainly would recommend buying one if you're thinking about it. I know I was watching all the reviews and hesitant, but honestly, if you are like me, and as my channel says, over 55, want to get out doing some overlanding and increase my season, this is an amazing setup for it. And absolutely, once you've purchased it, it's nothing to run it. I mean, like I said, that tank in there would last me about 4 nights or more. I've seen some reviews, and the 5-liter tank gives you 30 hours of use when this is on low setting, and that's a 10-liter. So with the little bit that's missing, like I said. All right, there you have it. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll be more than willing to share any of the troubles that I had putting this together, and that, which weren't many for the actual unit itself, just mounting it, trying to figure out how to do it. Thank you very much for watching, and all the links for anything that I have here will be in the description.